a problem
Damn.
with Lisa Vanderpump.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah. We've been talking about
I bet
this.
Bayo could guess why. It's because she's a speciesist.
Okay.
She engages in speciesism.
How so?
Well, I used to live near one of her
Speciesism?
restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
and I would walk by, and they would have like this van outside that was just like parked there that had screens that was educating people about the Yulin Dog Meat Festival in China.
Oh wow.
Are you familiar with it's this big festival where they cook up dog meat and lychee. I think that's the full name.
Okay.
Legitimately, there's like some there could be better practices in how they treat the dogs. Apparently, they don't get a lot of space. They're not really going out of their way to make their life more pleasant before they're served. Sounds a lot like American factory farming, if you ask me. But so she's very passionate about dogs. So she was educating people about this using her restaurant stuff. And literally it's parked across the sidewalk from her restaurant that serves plenty of other types of meat.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I'm not a vegan, but I've tried to not eat meat here and there. And I've never like roasted vegans. I was always kind of like, you guys are right. Like I just can't front. Yeah. That's always been my take. It's like I don't like making fun of vegans. I'm just like, you guys are right.
And it feels tired.
It feels tired to make fun of vegans, and also like that, like everybody's been talking about climate change, and there's been this big debate like, well, is there anything an individual person can do? We got it that only
like
the government can change
farming.
it. And one of the few things that people consistently say, an individual choice that makes a big difference is not eat meat. So anyway, I respect vegans, and they're always pulling their hair out, being like, what is up with these people who literally eat the tortured meat of cows, chickens every day, in her case, profits off of it by serving it to other people, and then have this like crazy soft spot for dogs, especially in another country.
Oh yeah.
And so, Bayo and I
we talk
about
a lot
about
the privileged place of dogs in the culture when, if you're going to serve meat, you can't like be specific. You can't
and you sent me an article
I mean, I've
recently
thought
where
about
they
this.
talked about it. It's
there's it's ongoing research.
It's called speciesism. So I'm asking everybody to boycott Vanderpump Rules.
Listen,
if you're not a speciesist.
I've done some dives. I've found out. I mean, I've wondered, why don't we eat dogs? Why are they off the table?
Well, especially because
it's because it costs more to raise them to the point where they have enough meat to eat. It takes more meat.
People have also made the case that humane societies believe in putting down dogs and cats because their take is there's just too many running wild, and it's more humane to let them die. So I've seen people make this point before. I'm not saying that I'm not taking a position here, but I've seen people make the point that in a first world country like America, where people still go hungry, and we are putting down all these like abandoned pets all the time. What's up with that?
Why don't we eat these dogs?
Imagine if like Bernie Sanders made that like a central part of his platform.
We gotta eat dogs.
We have millionaires and billionaires eating chicken and fine Kobe beef.
We need to.
And meanwhile, thousands of pounds of delicious dog meat.
We gotta do something about all these dogs.
Because of 1%ers like Lisa Vanderpump. I don't know, but I do. And then we saw there was also some feel-good story about two women who rescued two dogs in Korea, and they were like doing the rounds on the morning shows, and it was like this feel-good story. And it came to my attention because somebody that I follow who is vegan or vegetarian was like said something basically, I'm living in the fucking Twilight Zone here. What is this?
Yeah.
And it's a glaring hypocrisy.
Well,
in American culture.
I never grew up with a pet dog, so I have like my own unique perspective on the dog as a creature.
Have you ever eaten dog?
I'm just not. We're not going to talk about
Okay,
it. I can't comment on that. But I do think, like, in observing dog owners, I think we've talked about this a bit, but like, especially with like rescue, I'll see people who, to me, I look at where they live and therefore where their dog lives, and they rescued it and they're very proud of that, and I'm just like, dude, I don't know if this dog had an upgrade here. Like, I don't know if the lifestyle you've provided for this dog is an upgrade for him to be like chilling around, like locked in your like bedroom all day. Like, I don't think he likes that life.
Hardcore animal activists almost get to this point of being like, you guys think you're being good to animals by having them as pets, right? Is that like a PETA stance?
Maybe, I don't know, but I do think, because like, it's weird that dogs are so domesticated that like when you see a dog out like running wild, it's like, oh my God, like this is horrible. Like something's very wrong. Like you would never see a wild dog in America, like running through the woods. They of course
like
were.
in other countries where there's like a million dogs.
There are
on the
wild
street
dogs,
packed, right?
Sure, but there's still like wild like pet dogs. You know, there's very few like
Right.
wild dogs still. But
Right, because we have enough organizations to at least put them in a shelter for a minute.
yeah,
And I'm all
they're like we've like it's weird how much we've changed dogs to where they like literally can't be animals.
and I
anymore.
also, like, by the way, if somebody says like I have a really positive relationship with my dog, and yeah, I do eat meat because they serve, that's what they sell at my local supermarket, and I'd like to do, but I'm not saying that person's like a crazy hypocrite.
Yeah.
It's not quite as extreme as having a meat serving restaurant across the street from your like Save the Dogs thing. But also it is a little weird to just like beat up on the Chinese Yulin Dog Meat Festival so much if you eat meat. 'Cause,
Yeah. Well,
like,
also
why?
like in
Why are
the
you calling
scale of
them out,
like
like-
of all the all the world problems right now that are going on, just like that's like your issue. That you're,
Especially when you probably live within 50 or 100 miles of some truly gnarly factory farm in the U.S.
yeah. And like I think if I'm gathering your point correctly, it's like why it's hypocritical because we should be eating the dogs.
Well, I think probably the best thing to do would be to not eat any animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about this because I think we probably all periodically need a reminder. If you're vegan curious, like me,
Yeah.
that's just like, oh yeah, it's so easy to put out of your mind for like years at a time. Sometimes
Yeah.
it takes the glaring hypocrisy of Elisa Vanderpump to remind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably most people would probably say that rather than saying, you know what, fuck you, I'm going to start eating dogs, they'd probably say like, yeah, I'll stop eating pigs and cows.